Hi everyone, I'm Micheline from Americana Long Arm Quilting. We do custom quilting and long arming, and you can find a link to our website in the description below. Now, I've got something really fun to do with you today. We're going to do a Christmas quilt, and you know, as quilters, we're always looking for a pattern that's a little bit different. It's not the same old 9 patch or whatever. You know, this is where innovation comes from. Is we wanted something different, and I've got something like that for you today. I've never seen anything like this. Maybe you have. Let me know in the comments if you have or how you like this one. This quilt design was designed by my daughter. She is amazing. Of course, I think that. She's a graphic designer in Nashville, Tennessee, and she's a fabulous artist. She's just amazing. And she's also the one that does all the video editing. So, thank you, Savannah. But she created this, and she created this pattern not from the perspective maybe as a quilter, although she quilts. She created this pattern just out of her imagination. And so it's not like she said, oh, let me get this 9 patch and switch this and do this to it, and that's going to be what we do. She just thought something up and created it. And it's going to be so amazing. As soon as I saw this, I just absolutely fell in love with it and wanted to do it. Now, I've drawn a little picture of it because I put the colors that we're going to be using today in it. We're going to use kind of a creamy, grungy background. We're going to use a dark green, this print, a red, and this print. So let me show you the pattern. I got to get up and get closer to you to show it to you. Isn't that fun? So I'm really, really excited to see how this is going to turn out. Let me show you. You don't need me to show you a cream background. Here are the pieces that we're going to be using. Super fun. And now I'm not going to give you all the cut sizes. I want you to know this is a jelly roll friendly pattern. So you can use up all your jelly roll pieces. This is going to be exciting because you could make this scrappy too. So I won't be able to give you all those sizes, but the pattern is on our website, and we are going to sell that pattern for a rock bottom price, a really good price. I've researched what PDF patterns go for, and we're like half of that. We just want to get this out to you guys so you'll be able to enjoy it too. Okay, let's get started getting this cut and get over to the machine and start sewing it. Okay, I've got all my pieces cut. There was just the one piece that wasn't a jelly roll size, but you can certainly cut it, piece 2 pieces of jelly roll together to get that. This is something I do a lot. I buy fabric without a pattern in mind. And then when it comes to time to make the pattern, I don't have enough of that fabric or that fabric. And that's happened again. I thought I had enough of this green to make the entire thing, and I ended up not having enough. So I had this other green, and it's the same color value. So you can't see a difference from here. But if I come close to you, you can see a difference. So I have to decide if I'm going to cut this amount, more of this, so that I have it in 2 separate colors, but it's uniform, or if I'm going to be okay mixing these in where I need them. So I'll figure that later. I will figure that out as I'm sewing, and I have enough of this to make more of these. So that happened. But that's what happens when you buy fabric without a pattern in mind. If you've got the pattern, then you know exactly how much fabric to buy. And you don't want to overbuy fabric because then you've got all this scrap left. If I needed a little bit more of a yard, more than a yard, and all I had was a yard, well, if when out purchasing fabric, I just go, I'm just going to buy 2 yards of everything I like, then I've got 3/4 of a yard or more left over, and that's not enough to do a project. So what do you guys do? Do you buy your pattern and then buy fabric to match that pattern? Or do you buy fabric and then try a pattern to match that? Leave that in the comments below. In the meantime, let's go over to the machine and get to sewing. Let's start with our green block. Okay, that's this one right here. So I'm going to need 8 of the longer greens, 8 of the shorter greens, and I did decide to go ahead and cut all my shorter ones out of this different green. I just like that better, and it ends up giving me a secondary pattern too, so that's kind of fun. So I'm going to take those. I need 4 of these, and I think I need 16 of these. I just grabbed a stack. Now, I'm going to rearrange the camera so you can see what I'm going to do next. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take one of these long ones and we're going to snowball the upper right-hand corner of each of them. I'm going to put that in there like that. Start out with my leader. Okay, now I'm going to take this, get that lined up. I'm going to take this corner and I'm going to hit my needle with it. I'm just going to touch that needle. And I'm going to take a few anchoring stitches, okay? And then I've got a 0 right here. And I'm going to point that corner right at that 0, and then I'm just going to start sewing. Low on thread. There we go. Let me show you that one more time, okay? That there. Right sides together. And if you don't feel comfortable doing this, you can always draw a line from corner to corner, but I feel pretty comfortable with it. So I'm going to anchor those stitches. I'm going to line that up with the 0, and I'm just going to go to sewing. There we go. And then when we turn that back, we just are going to make sure that it's got full coverage, and it does. Now I'm going to do that a whole bunch more times. Now let me show you how I'm going to iron these a little bit different. Okay, so I've got 2 identical pieces here. They're both going to go this way. I'm going to press this one towards the snowballed corner, but I'm going to flip this one like that and press it towards the body of the green. All right, that way, as you can see here, they're going 2 different ways. That is so when they come together right here in these corners, the seams will be able to nest. So it's always a good idea when you're planning out a quilt block that you think about which way you want your seams to go. Then I'm just going to come in here and with my incredibly dull scissors, trim that off. Come on, scissors, you can do it. And I believe those are too small for me to keep. So take care of those. One's going that way, one's going this way. That way, when they come together like this, which they eventually will, the seams are going in opposite directions and will be able to nest. Hi. This is the baby. This is the baby. Yes, you are. You are so full of yourself. You just wiggle from one end to the other, don't you? Yes, you do. Hi. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. Where do you think you're going? Where do you think you're going? Huh? Okay. Can Mommy sew now? Where do you... No, I don't think so. Get down off the chair. All right. Go on. Okay. You. Let me give that back to you. All right. Go on. All right. Took a little love break there. Now let me show you. Let me show you how to put one of these blocks together, okay? It's really simple. The fussiest, hardest part is already over. That was snowballing the corners. And that wasn't that hard. I really think this is kind of a beginner-friendly quilt block. So now we're going to put these 3 pieces together. Easy peasy. Put my glasses back on so I can see. All right, get over there, you. Let me just go ahead and do both sides of that, and then we'll get it pressed. There we go. And I'm doing a nice scant 1/4 inch seam allowance. It doesn't have to be a scant 1/4 inch. I just say that so often, I just say it. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to press these seams open because I've just been in a mood lately where I like my seams just as flat as they can be. And if I'm pressing these guys open, they just seem to be a little bit flatter when I get to the next step. So I'm just going to go ahead and press them open. I never used to do that. All right, here we go. Put him back where he belongs. And now I'm going to put, making sure that the snowballed corner is away from the center. I am going to put this one here and this one here, but let's do this one first. Making sure that I don't close my seams back up, and I'm going to just pinch right there, holding those two together, those ends together. There we go. Okay, I'm going to do the other side. Let's put him back where he belongs. And we're going to go here with him. Line up that corner. Okay, there we go. This is as difficult as it gets. Okay, let's go ahead and press those seams a little bit. Set our seams. And now this one I'm not going to press open. What I'm going to do with these, and this is one of the reasons I pressed these open, is because I'm going to press this seam towards the center, which doubles up all of those seams. And had they been just pressed to one side or the other, that would have been a lot of bulk in that area. And I'm pressing it towards the center because I want to press it away from this snowballed corner because that's got more bulk. Turn around, do the same thing this way. Okay. Here we go. Now on the back, you'll notice that this seam is pressed this way towards the green, and this one is pressed towards the cream. And that way, when they butt up against each other here in the next stage, they're going to nest. Okay, I am going to get, oh, there's how that block looks. Now this is a little bit like the X's and O's or the hugs and kisses, whatever you want to call it, block, in that you've got a square and then you snowball the corners, and that's the legs of your X. This one's just got a little different something going on here in the center, a different construction. So let me get the other three made, and then I'll show you how I put it all together. So here are my 4 corners, and they do kind of make a little bit of an X. But the fun thing about this quilt is there are 2 different sizes of them. In the reds are smaller and the greens are bigger, so it gives it a really different look. Now what we're going to do is put these together. Okay, now I've got it to where the 2 snowballed corners, their seams are going in different directions, right? So I was careful when I laid it out that each one of these corners where we've got the snowballs, they are going in different directions, okay? So now I'm going to put this one together and this one together, and I'm going to sew down these, okay? I've already got my leader in the machine. I'm going to line up my fabric here, my corners. Make sure that this is indeed nesting together nicely, and it is. There we go. Okay. Match that other end and sew. Weave that together and do this one. There we go. There we are. Now, I can't remember. Do I want to press these open? I think I do. I think I do want to press these open. Yes, because it'll just give a little less bulk in that intersection where those snowballed corners are coming together. And anywhere we can do a little bit less bulk, I'm all for it, right? Okay. That one's done. Put him up there. He's ready for the next step. Let's get this guy. You go that way. There we go. I'm being so quiet. It's not like me, is it? Usually I can't shut up. Okay, now we're going to make sure that those are still, in opposite directions, and we're going to sew this seam. And then I'll show you the secondary pattern that using that second piece of green fabric created. Happy little coincidence. Let me match up this corner down here. There we go. Make sure my centers are matched. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and get this pressed open, and I'm going to go ahead and press those seams open too. There we go. It is just a fussy little thing to do, though, I tell you. I don't think I could do this, press seams open on absolutely everything that I do. That would just drive me crazy. But in some instances, it makes sense. Almost there. I'm going to move this. The short little arms can't reach. Oh, there we go. These long fingernails come in handy too, because I don't have to get that close to the iron with my actual fingers. I asked my accountant one time, you know, my fingernails are really helpful in my job because I can use them like a stiletto to move the fabric. Do you think I can take off getting my fingernails done on my taxes? And he said, sure you can, if you don't mind getting audited. I said, never mind, I'm not going to take it off. Nope, not going to do that. I don't want to get audited. Okay, so here's our block. Do you see the secondary pattern that comes up by using this second color of fabric? We get a pinwheel. Isn't that neat? So he pinwheels here like this. Let me show it to you one more time so you can see it. Isn't that fun? I love it when a secondary pattern comes up. All right, now on to the red block. Well, it's a rainy, dreary day here, but we're going to make some Christmas magic happen and make it fun and bright and cheerful by working on our Christmas quilt. We're going to start off working on the red block today. Now, it's put together the same way as this green block, same exact way. It just comes out smaller. And I'll show you after we get it put together how we're going to make them the same size. But for right now, we need 8 of our red rectangles, 8 of our red squares, 4 of our center prints, and 16 of our background squares. Now, I'm going to get all this put together, and then I'll show you the magic to make it the same size as the green square. Now, as you can see, these are different sizes by quite a bit, or by 2.5 inches. So now this is the big secret, which is not really a big secret, is it? We're going to stash it. So I'm going to put one of these shorter ones on either side, and then the longer ones across the top. Now all I have to do is iron it. I sure do love having a pressing mat right here by my machine. I think I've said this before, but when I first started quilting here at this machine, I thought, gosh, I'll just put my quilting station here and I'll use my iron from my drapery workroom. I don't need to get one of those gimmicky little tiny irons. That's just silly. And boy, after a couple weeks of using that big heavy drapery iron right here, oh, I was so sore. And so I was very happy to go get me one of these little gimmicky irons, and I have never regretted. I think they're fabulous. I will tell you this, the other day, my iron for my drapery workroom gave out. You know, they do that from time to time, and I went and bought another one. But in the meantime, I had to do a little bit of ironing, so I tried to use that iron on my drapery material. Oh, it was a nightmare. It didn't work well. That iron is for little cottons. That's what it's for, and it works perfectly. All right, now here is our red block all done. Now I just have 5 more of each of those to make, and then we'll get our quilt set up. All right, here it is laid out. I still have to sew the rows, sew the pieces together in a row, and then sew the rows together, but there are only 12 blocks, and I think that'll come together really quickly. Looking at it from this perspective, can you see how cool it is to have the red blocks, the little X's smaller than the green ones? I think that's such an interesting take on this block. I really love how it turned out. I hope you guys like this block as much as I do. All right, well, let me get this sewn up and then we'll get it on the long arm machine. All right, everyone, Eleanor's hard at work. Let me give her a pause. Now you can probably hear me better. I chose a cute little jingle bell pattern to quilt her in. I'll show you that in a little bit. And I had thought about one of these 3 colors, but I ended up going with that bright green back there. It's kind of a polished poly, and it has just a little bit of sparkle to it. So for a Christmas quilt, I thought it would be really, really pretty. And it showed up the least in the background. Well, this one showed up the least in the background, but it showed up a whole lot in the red. And that I just wasn't feeling that. So I chose that one. Now, let's let Eleanor get back to work, and I'll show you the quilt when she's all done. Well, it's all done, and I think it is exquisite. If this is any indication of my daughter's future in the pattern designing business, I think she has a bright future indeed. I absolutely love the way this turned out. The different sizes between the X's, I also think they look like flowers, by the way. I think they probably look more like a flower than they do an X, kind of like a poinsettia perhaps. But the different sizes to me gives the quilt a certain amount of flow, of movement. I think they just look like they're floating in there, and I just love it. We do get a little bit of a secondary pattern here because I used the two different greens. I really think this is neat that she put a larger pieces in here that you can use some kind of focal pattern or focal fabric with it. I think that's really fun. We backed it with red. We also added a 2.5-inch border, keeping with that jelly roll friendly theme. Also bound it in the same red. Keep it simple, you know. I think these two colors playing off of each other really make it dynamic. I hope you really will give this pattern a try. Go to our website, Americana Long Arm Quilting, and pick one of these patterns up. You won't be sorry, and let us know in the comments what you think of this, okay? Did a little jingle bell quilting on it. I thought that turned out really cute, wonderful for the season. Used a thread that has a little bit of a shimmer to it, so that turned out really nice. The quilt itself finishes 52.5 by 68.5, so a generous size throw quilt. The difficulty level, I would say easy to intermediate. Super simple to do. Just get in there and give it a try. I know you'll have fun making this. I sure did. Now, if you enjoyed watching this video, please like, subscribe, and share. Do all those things that make the algorithm sing. And until next time, have a wonderful day and stay quilting. Bye.